Hello, everyone, and welcome to Osquery Office Hours. It is December, and it is the last office hours of the year, I think. No, wait, maybe there's one more, but I'm traveling. I don't know. Whatever. Almost the last one of the year.
Maybe
Uh,
we should cancel that one.
yeah, maybe. Um, I hope people are having a nice December, holidays if you have them or will have them soon, but welcome. Um, First section is announcements. I guess, I don't know, y'all want to have an Osquery office hours on the
It would
31st?
be the 31st, New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably be traveling as well. I
Okay,
would say
first
we should just
announcement
cancel it.
then. No Osquery office hours on the 31st.
I'll post something in the channel.
Okay, thank you, Zach. I wrote it into our minutes. Anyone have any other announcements? Okay. Next section is questions, issues, PRs, anything people want to raise as a general discussion point. Zach, any
Yeah.
PR that I need to re-review?
Yeah, I think I just want to get that merged and then we'll cut the release. That was a last minute addition as we discovered we were doing quite a bit of egress for Osquery configs.
For Osquery configs. I mean, I guess they're big, but they're still smaller than the logs.
Well, sort of depends, and you don't pay as much for ingress on AWS. So the priority was to get something going there, but yes, I do think both directions ought to be gzipped, and I know we discussed that extensively, and I think we'll get there. But yeah, I'd love to get that PR in, and then we'll do some testing.
I'll review it again today. I saw. Mostly, I wanted you and Lucas to resolve what you wanted to do with the verbosity there.
Yeah, makes sense, and I got that logging in, so we're good. Yeah, the only other outstanding PR that we wanted to merge, I think, was Micah's, and we had quite a back and forth on that, but that has now been merged since Friday, I think, or Monday, or
yeah, I saw that got merged. Your gzip PR smells a little bit weird to me, but I'm still going to approve it. It feels really like you're taking the request body, decompressing it, and shoving it back in. Is that really how people do this? This is not what I would do in Go code.
That is actually roughly what people do in Go code, I think.
Oh, you just
or what the well-known library does.
I would put it in as middleware.
Okay, the Go library does it as middleware, but in that middleware, it just like unzips the request body and deletes some headers and
makes like a new. Yeah, that's what middleware does.
Okay,
it makes sense. This feels weird.
Well, if you want to, if you want to try a different approach, we can do that, or we can also like it could be refactored later as well. I think, right? Like, I don't think anything would prevent us from doing that.
I trust your knowledge and implementation, perhaps as aided by AI. And
yes,
I do not wish to research the C libraries myself.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I think we could go with it now. And I do intend to do some more work on the whole thing. And I want to do a little bit of benchmarking because, for example, we're using like a constant buffer size that's something like 16 kilobytes, which I think is basically just copy pasted from like the zlib examples, which I think might be like highly dated. And so I have a feeling that using a buffer size that's something a fair bit larger than that, like order of magnitude or two, might improve performance substantially. But I don't know. I didn't want to change it without doing that checking, but I am curious to look into that kind of thing.
So does that change your views on when we should cut or release?
No, I think that I would just, I will intend to do some benchmarking later, and if there seems to be a notable difference, and I think I had some other idea of something that also might be able to be optimized.
Is there in Go I would be asking about streaming versus static buffer allocations and things, and it looks like this looks pretty similar to what was there, and I don't know quite enough C to understand whether this looks like it's a big honking static thing, but the size just isn't that big, so maybe it's fine. And it's not like we have to instantiate it at later anyhow. So I don't know, maybe it's.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of an interesting thing. Well, oh yeah, so the way that the zlib library works, it expects to have like a static size buffer to push the data into after it either like inflates or deflates it. But that static size buffer is likely smaller than the total amount of output produced. So you end up having to copy from that buffer into, in our existing code, we use a string. And so that's what I did as well. I looked into this a bit, and there are some considerations that could be made, and again, things that I'd be curious to benchmark. Like you can, for example, so C++ strings are dynamically allocated. Their size is increased as necessary, their buffer size. So there are things that also may be worth benchmarking, like making a guess at the size, like an incredibly rough guess at the size, and pre-allocating some memory for that, so that you're doing less like reallocations and copies. But all of that said, like the standard doesn't say what the implementations actually have to do in these cases. So it also might be like compiler and architecture dependent. And all of that said, it seems like it's might not actually even matter that much in the end.
Good enough.
So I contemplated and decided, like, well, let's just get it in there now, and then and not do premature optimization. And then but I am curious to try the obvious things, which are changing the static buffer size, and then changing the pre-allocated size of the string that the eventual result gets written into. And those would apply both to the inflate and deflate.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I have lost track of what we decided on options. If we keep it as TLS except gzip, then we end up in like in a year when this becomes standard, we end up with a like TLS except gzip equals false, as opposed to like a TLS disabled gzip option.
Yes, the default becomes TLS except gzip equals true, and then if you would want to turn it off, you would do TLS except gzip. Now, your original concern was about TLS enable gzip equals false.
Yeah, I think except I agree, because except also makes it clear which way the directionality goes.
Right. That was the thing that came to mind to me. It's like really what we're doing is we're sending an accept, we're enabling or disabling sending the accept header, and then being willing to actually decompress the response. So I think while accept sounds a lot like enable, I think it actually does have a more specific meaning that fits better.
Yeah, because if I think about how to invert it, I end up with like TLS don't accept gzip, and then that's really long.
Yeah.
So, okay. I will approve this because.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I think we did all the things we said we should do on it.
Kitsy says hi.
Wonderful. Kitsy probably remembers me. It's only been 8 years.
Kitsy said, I miss Seth, one of my favorite people outside of IT that I got to work with at Fastly.
Very kind. Maybe even on an Osquery project.
Cool.
It was a crazy project where I actually got Osquery authing using like Jira distributed certs or some nonsense. Some weird pile of stuff. And Fastly, we built an Osquery based EDR.
Nice.
Long time ago. Okay, well, I proved that one. I don't think we have any other PRs hanging out.
I have looked through them. I don't expect to or intend to or desire to merge any others.
Do we want to talk about this job dependency and actions PR you had up?
Yeah, I think we could talk about that. That's a good one to talk about in office hours.
So the comment I left here was that we are super limited in macOS runners. The
concurrency.
The concurrency is very low. So we end up in situ, and because our jobs take so long, like if you merge 3 PRs, it hurts. So I would be a little cautious to do this on macOS. Seems like it's safer on one of the other platforms potentially, to still run a build. So like if you wanted to do it on Linux or something, that might be better.
Interesting point. Or I wonder about like if code style. So the PR we're talking about, for anyone who's not sure, is 8706, remove unnecessary job dependencies and actions. And right now, our jobs are all set up so that there's a dependency on the check code style and check libraries manifest. But really, check code style is the one that often fails. And then, just because there's a formatting issue, the rest of the tests don't run. So I've found that I often end up in the position where I'm like looking at someone's PR and I'm like, CI doesn't pass. Like,
but is the rest of it any good?
But does the rest of it even, do the tests even pass? Like once they fix the formatting issue, what else are we gonna have to deal with? And so that was my motivation for adding this. But now that you bring up that concern and then like made that proposal, Steph, something that comes to mind to me is I wonder if we could, in the case of code style issues, I wonder if we could, instead of running like the entire matrix of macOS and others, if we could just run like one on each platform.
Ooh,
one job on each platform so that we still get like some sense of the unit tests. So maybe I'll go back and look at doing that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, because that might sort of bridge the gap pretty cleanly on not chewing up all our runners. And
yeah, I mean, and it also, it's funny, like most days it doesn't matter, and then some days when a few people are trying to get PRs in, it's super annoying.
Yeah, because the other thing, right, is we also rerun the tests post merge, so it's like you have to.
Yeah.
You get to hit twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if we could. That's an interesting thought. I wonder if we could change how many we run on a PR versus on main.
Yeah, for sure we could.
Like, would we want to not run every macOS version on one of those two? Like maybe we still want to when we cut a release tag, but maybe we don't need to like run them all. I don't know. I don't know what correct is here.
Yeah. It would be nice if GitHub had a way that you could say like prioritize this one. Okay, well, I think that the low-hanging fruit here maybe is to just try to like reduce the number of jobs in the case of the code style issue. So I'll just convert this to draft and note that we discussed
It's actually going to be really ugly.
Is it because of the way that Matrix works or something?
Yeah, because of the Matrix thing. Because our jobs are so big, you'd have to. Well, okay, the naive way would be to duplicate the whole thing into another thing. There's another pattern where you could extract the instructions into a reusable piece and include it in both spots. And then I wonder if there's like another way where maybe we could remove it as a dependency and just put an early, if this thing failed, then fast fail kind of thing. And I would support either extracting the steps into something reusable or trying to come up with a fast fail approach. I would probably not support duplicating
yeah
job. Okay, so that one we're not going to do for this go.
It also doesn't matter if it gets into the release or not.
That's true. And then 8658, you had we're blocked on a CLA signature.
Yes, that one.
That human has not reappeared.
Yeah, that is pretty, like, maybe we should just close it at some point. Pretty small PR.
What about the
8719?
That one we thought was poorly justified AI slop.
Yes, and I've followed up again on that, and I would expect to close it probably soon.
Yeah, I think if none of us understand it and the person is not doing an adequate job to explain it, then it's not worth our time.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the upgrade to boost?
Blocked on the
what is it? Blocked on removing BPF?
Yeah,
I think ultimately, yeah.
I kind of dropped off tracking that after a while. I saw it on the list here, July 7th. That opened it up.
Yeah. Yeah, let me follow up on that. Definitely.
I know there was some like stories created stuff for it on the fleet side things, but I wasn't sure where they went.
Yeah, I'm following up internally about that, but I don't have any news.
I'm sure that's a tough one to prioritize.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other stuff we want to talk about? If not, maybe we're done. Maybe people want to tug out a little bit early.
Yeah, I guess in terms of the release, seems like we merged my GZIT PR, we cut the release, and then we should probably shoot for calling it stable like just after the new year, hopefully.
I'm good with that. Yeah, we can try and do that. There's always a lot of just shepherding it through, so hopefully I can kind of watch the GitHub jobs as they go.
Yeah, and I could do that potentially as well.
Zach, what
Yeah.
about there's one other ticket that's a P2 that I see on the fleet side about large carve files not working. Okay. It's
Was that just filed? We were talking about something this morning.
not just I guess I could share my screen, maybe that would help.
So by default, it's limited to 50
Is
MB.
it in the public repo, Constantine?
The large carve files aren't working.
Carves, if I remember correctly, are by default limited to 50 MB, and there's a flag to change it maybe.
Okay.
If I remember this functionality, but this has been a while.
Gotcha.
Sorry. Scroll up to the top of this one.
Yeah, no worries. No, I was tasked with this, and like I figured out what the problem was. It was actually an integer overflow issue because
Okay.
the size column on the carves table is an integer, and it's not a big integer. So like anything over 2 gigabytes blows up the table.
This is in Fleet.
No, this is in the carve. This is in Osquery.
Oh, interesting.
There's a bit of code here. Why don't I share my entire screen? Let me show you.
Well, is this an easy fix?
Potentially.
Easy-ish. It's a few lines of code, but let me see if I can. Oops, sorry.
Osquery doesn't really have strict types, so, and if I remember right, SQLite's big int is really just a string representation of the number.
Damn it! I can't share. Okay, well, I can't share my VS Code because Google Chrome needs permissions, but I will share the piece of code that I'm looking at, and I will show you.
So what's the risk of changing it to a big int?
There isn't any. That's what my proposed change. Oops, not wrong. Button.
Well, can we like do that today and get it in the release?
So where is this? Let me see here. Let me try to find the place that I found it. It's this bit right here. Here we go. So
okay, still seeing just the issue.
Oh, damn it. I'm very bad at screen sharing, huh? Oh, here we go. This one. This guy. Is it better?
Yes, code.
So enumerate carves. What happens is when it's over 2 gigabytes, we do this check here. Isn't. And if it's over 2 gigabytes, that's the max int value for int32. So this is what seg faults right here.
So Osquery actually crashes?
Yeah, it crashes. So that was the problem with the issue that the person filed. I forget what client or what person it is. But so like we need to change this to basically be
I mean, instead of get in, it's probably like get long.
I mean,
or is I think there's an is in 64 and there's a get in 64 and there's like UN 64. I don't know how precise we want to be about it, but
what part's crashing?
Well, I'm just getting onto like the.
I think what I'm trying to remember here, right, is so if I read this right, what it's doing is it's saying, is this an integer? If it's an integer, get it as an integer. If not, get it as a string.
Yes.
So why does that fail on a big number?
Because this is integer 32.
I don't get it.
So you're saying that this is int function returns true, but then get int crashes?
Well, no, I'm thinking this part right here. This cast to integer seg faults. So like it is an integer, yes, but then it's seg faults on this cast, I think, because it overflows on. integer. Like this should be a big int instead of integer.
No, that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think what I'm saying, this doesn't seem like an int big int. This actually seems like an int uint issue.
Could be, but also this integer macro like is just setting the affinity.
And it's going to cast it all to a string. So the other thing that I'm not sure of is like,
it's still returning as a string regardless.
Right, because Osquery ultimately casts everything to a string. So is this being more clever than it needs to be? Like if we wanted to support big ints here, is there a simpler, do we even need the if statement?
Well, the problem is that the carves table spec is an integer, right? Like hold on. If I go to this,
I swear I've written code to do this in some other part of Osquery.
this is the problem.
Yeah, but how hard is that to change?
No, but that's your big int, and then the cast in this file needs to happen. This needs to cast as big int because I think integer overflow.
Okay.
I mean, I think this is all speculation. But
I guess you're saying you can reliably reproduce this.
I've reliably reproduced the seg fault, and I'm pretty sure it's because of this integer cast.
And you reliably reproduce the seg fault by just like carving something bigger than 2 gigs and it immediately fails, or what? What else do you do?
2 gigs is the exact size, and max is 32.
So in line 53, like time is big int, right? And all we are doing is, get uint 64 instead of get int. So maybe that's gives us 2 gigs more, but
yeah, I think what we have to do is we have to see if it's a uint or if it's an int64, and then we can use get uint or
uint 64.
Uint, yeah. Either use get uint or get int 64. So like this statement gets like 2 or 3 more blocks, because like if it's an unsigned integer, if it's a signed, which I don't know why it would ever be a signed integer, but
yeah, I feel like you shouldn't. I feel like you could probably just get it directly as a string, but then there's an optimization question for under int 64s, right? Because SQLite integers, SQLite itself is a uint 64.
Isn't it just all strings under the hood?
As soon as you exceed that, yes. But if it does have integers, like the default int thing. I don't know. I fought with this for somewhere in our source code once upon a time.
SQLite default as a signed integer.
Something, but
I mean, if you look at the macros from tables.h,
yeah, it does. It all expands out to a string because
it's just all strings.
So just making it in a string now seems fine.
But this is where it's seg faulting, for sure.
I mean, I feel like it could just be if tree.doc has member, then r size equals integer or whatever, big int, tree.doc size dot get string.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that would fix the problem. Like I don't think we need to do. I guess we can do like some fancy, like if it's uint or if it isn't, but like it doesn't matter. It should just be big int.
I do think it doesn't really matter. Maybe.
What?
I don't remember if ptree like allows you to get something as like an int or string. I don't remember exactly how the APIs work.
I don't know. I should probably drop. I am confident that you can isolate this into something trivially testable.
No, I have that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to get it. There's a carve test file, and I'm trying to reproduce it because I've reproduced it
Oh, I was suggesting you should extract this one function and make a unit test for it.
Oh yeah. That is exactly what I'm trying to do.
Because, I mean, then you just beat it. A 2 gigabyte number and a 4 gigabyte number and a 6 gigabyte number.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do, because like I proved that it's seg faults somewhere in here.
Yeah.
But like I don't know exactly why, because it's really hard to step through it.
This feels feasible to me to get into a release like today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so. Constantine, if you don't have time to do that, can you just like try to further communicate to me what you know, and then I can take over?
I have some time to do it. I have some time to do it today.
Okay.
I will try to create a test that fails this
without creating a 4 gigabyte test file.
Well, yes, I think I can.
Because I think you want to test it at 34 gigabytes as well.
34. Why 34?
Because it's over in 32.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry, it's over in 32.
So it's bigger than 32. I guess that maybe doesn't matter. I'm being silly because I don't know. I can't math. I'm sorry.
Okay, I will come up with something.
Yeah, make a test. You two can fix it. It'll be great. I'm giving an approval.
I will come up with something, but I think it's as easy as just changing this to a big integer.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, if you have to go, Seth, no worries. At Constantine, I can hang with you and we can try to figure this out.
Consider making a new meeting, because I don't know if you want it recorded into office hours.
Or I can just turn off the recording.
Also fair. Goodbye, all. Thank you for your time.